Hey, everybody. This week I wanted to talk about something that came to mind today. My area of the country right now is experiencing a high level of both flu and COVID. And I may have picked up flu. I'm not sure. It's very mild if I have, but it's not something I want to pass on to anybody. And this weekend would have been a volunteer photography job for me. And I've decided to hold off on that because I don't want to get any of the people I'd be working with ill, just in case. And it brought to mind kind of the negotiation, the dance that we do with our clients. First part of it is just dealing with not scheduling, right? Because scheduling will come farther down the line. But that first part of the negotiation, and it's not money, is the negotiation of style. Does your style, the way that you shoot, meet what the person's looking for? And it's possible that it won't. I've turned down a couple of jobs that were just not what I was looking to do. Be quite honest, I was approached by one person asking if I would take nude photographs of him for his girlfriend. That was a little weird one, but it wasn't anything I felt comfortable in doing, so I turned it down because if I didn't feel comfortable taking those photographs, then they wouldn't be the best photographs he was going to get. So we have a bit of negotiation as to what our style is. And of course, our portfolios are available, so that makes it a little bit easier because people can see what our style is and know what they're getting into going up front. Then we can talk about scheduling, and then we can talk about money and those kinds of things. But to me, the most important thing is to make sure that the client is going to be happy with what they're going to get. I've got my if I were doing makeup, they would call it a sample case. I don't know what we call it as photographers. I have my samples of the books that I use for boudoir photographs. I've got multiple different types of books, so I have a sample of each. Some places are really good about just giving you a sample book, right? It's not with your pictures in it, obviously, but it gives you something that you can show the client as an option that they could use. The best, of course, is to have your photographs in it, and I've got a couple of sample books that I had made up with my photographs in it. Then I've got I like large art, so I've got a large print. I like metal, and I like canvas. There's just something that's very different about those two mediums, but there's just something I like about them. To me, the canvas seems more homey. So if I was shooting for somebody and they were going to put it in a house, and the house had lots of wood, like wood floors and wood counters and things like that, I might want to aim them more toward a canvas print. Canvas has a texture to it. It has a warmth to it. It's different than a photograph in a frame. Now, there's nothing wrong with a photograph in a frame. You got the glass to deal with. You got the frame to deal with. To me, I would like a little bit less between me and what I'm looking at. So I like canvas, which has no cover over it, and I like metal prints. Now, when it comes to metal prints, these seem very modern. And if you haven't seen either of those, canvas is exactly what it sounds like. It's a wooden frame with a piece of canvas stretched over it that has your print on it. It's got everything that you would see for texture on a canvas bag. Metal is very gleamy. It shines, right? Depending on how you get it framed, I like the hidden frame. Now, hidden frame is a frame that's inside the back. So you've got nothing around the outside of your print. Same with the canvas. There's nothing around the outside of the print. The canvas wraps around. As a matter of fact, the print will wrap around if you put it correctly so that your background wraps around the frame. With a metal print, everything is just in that one two-dimensional space. But having this floating frame behind it looks like it's literally just floating, because you really have to go side on to it to actually see the frame in the back. It's very well hidden, so it looks like the thing is just floating in space. And for me, that has a very sleek, clean, modern look to it. So if I'm looking at a place that, I don't know, has like marble countertops, a very chrome kitchen faucet, and that's the aesthetic in the house, is to match that setup, then I would go with this. I would also do this for a minimalistic house too, because it like I said, it just looks like it's hanging. It looks like it's floating there, so you don't have the extra bulk around it of a frame or anything like that. But I have them, and like I said, you can't call it a kit because it's a big thing. It's a 30-inch photograph. And this is the type of stuff that I like to do, and I like to create for my client. I want a big photograph. And yes, I've got my own. I have one of my daughter and her partner, and it's 30 inches wide. It's a landscape portrait. They each have one of their cats in their lap, and it just, I just love the canvas for that. It looks very homey. It looks very warm. It would work on a metal frame, but I wouldn't like it as much. The metal frame one, I've got a bodybuilder that I retouched. It's a off-the-shelf bodybuilding photograph that I was doing to show off my retouching work. And I thought, well, why don't I just print that as this big print, right? And I've got that as a big metal print, and it looks good on metal. She just kind of floats there, and with the retouching, the muscles and things look more three-dimensional. So it adds more of a more dimension to the photograph on the metal. But again, that part of it's going to be what your photograph looks good on, but part of it's going to be what's going to fit into their house, because we want our art to be displayed, right? We don't want somebody to go, that's real pretty, and then they tuck it away in the corner someplace. We want it to be front and center. We want everybody to see that photograph, not because we did it, but because it's their photograph. And when you're doing boudoir, obviously you're probably not going to have much in the way of that. And that's where the books come in, where you can do full layouts in the books, and finding a good place to get the books printed is important. The one place I was looking at actually had a wooden box that it comes in with a space on the side that you could put a USB in there. So not only could you generate a book of your prints, you could take the prints that the person purchased, right? A lot of photographers also give digital copies of them. Put that in on a USB drive, get a fancy USB drive or a logoed USB drive, tuck it in that little spot that they've got in the box, and not only do they have this beautiful box that holds their photo album in it, it also holds the USB drive that has their digital versions of the images on it. So it's all in one place, and you can do a presentation of that entire package as a package. So a lot of that comes out as we talk to the client about what it is that they want. Lithograms and lithography for night lights and things like that can be something that's brought up too. If that's what they're interested in, and it's something you can provide for them. You never know. Maybe they want a night light of their kid. So when they go to bed at night, there's a little night light that they can see to get down the hallway, and it's a lithography of their child um, over a nightlight. So there's a lot of things you can do. There's a lot of things you can think of. Maybe it's a child that can't, for whatever reason, sleep with their pet. So instead of that, you make up a little nightlight for them that has the pet's face on there that they can go to bed with, and they can see that nightlight and they can see the pet's face, right? And it could be any reasons that they couldn't sleep with the pet, but it gives them something to remember the pet while they go to sleep and maybe makes them sleep a little better. So be creative and think outside of just the photographs as well as part of that negotiation. What do you see, if you can do it in their house, and use that to help generate ideas about what you can create for them. But again, the big thing's going to be, is what your style going to match what they're looking for? And like I said, I'm not big on photographs behind glass and frames, partly because it's very damageable. Partly because that's not what we had a lot of stuff in the house for. We had small frames with small photographs in it, but the bigger stuff were paintings and things like that. And now you're talking canvas. And maybe that's where my love of canvas came from, is just seeing these prints, these portrait or the paintings that my folks had gotten over the years. But I've always seemed to like that kind of thing. It seems more homey to me. And like I said, the metal seems ultra modern. And both of those kind of fit my style and what I want to offer to people. And so by your style of photography, your style of working, right? You got to get that done up front as well, so people know what their expectations are when you start the photo shoots. Your style of what you're going to present to them. What is it that you're going to do? How is it going to look? What's it going to look like? All of that stuff filters in to that dance that we do as we negotiate with the client for a photo shoot. But that's what I got for you guys today, and I will talk to you all next week.